Catherine the Great is a very controversial figure. Her image is veiled in so many myths and legends that it is hard to separate the truth from the fiction. When you hear her name, what comes to your mind? First, you probably know that she was an empress of Russia. Eventually, you would say that her reign was considered as the golden age of Russia. However, I bet you would most likely recall a story about how she died, and how one horse was involved in the process. But guess what? That story was totally fabricated. Although Catherine was a very sexual ruler, she was not as promiscuous as the stories depict her. And like the case with Marie Antoinette's infamous phrase "let them eat cake," the same is with the story of the horse and Catherine. It was created by her political opponents. Anyways, today we won't talk about how she died, but instead how she lived, and we will focus on 5 interesting things about her that are not myths or stories, but real facts. Catherine was born in Kingdom of Prussia as Princess Sophie Friederike August von Anhalt-Zerbst-Dornberg. Her father, Christian August, Prince of Anhalt-Zerbst, belonged to the ruling German family of Anhalt. He tried to become the Duke of Duchy of Courland and Semigallia, but in vain, and at the time of his daughter's birth held the rank of a Prussian general. Her mother, Joanna Elizabeth of Holstein-Gottorp, was a great-granddaughter of King Frederick III of Denmark, which opened Catherine's opportunity for a high-rank marriage. Catherine was born in a Lutheran family. If she wanted to marry Peter III, she had to convert to Eastern Orthodoxy, the official religion in Russia. Despite her father's objection, on the 28th of June 1744, the Russian Orthodox Church received Princess Sophie as a member with the new name Catherine and their artificial patronymic, Alexeyevna, meaning daughter of, Alexei. This name was not chosen randomly. She was given the Slavic name Catherine Alexeyevna in honor of Empress Catherine I, the mother of Empress Elizabeth and the grandmother of Peter III. She was the wife of Peter the Great and ruler in her own right after his death. Let me know in the comments below if you want a video about her, to find out how from a peasant she became an empress. Catherine received her education chiefly from a French governess and from private tutors. She wrote comedies, fiction, and memoirs. As a woman with a Western education, she immediately paid attention how much Russia is behind compared to the rest of Europe. Once she took over the power, she started developing the Russian culture. As a patron of the arts, she presided over the age of the Russian Enlightenment, including the establishment of the Smolny Institute for Noble Maidens in 1764, the first state-financed higher education institution for women in Europe. On 28th of March 1776, Catherine granted Prince Peter Arusov a license to organize theatrical performances, balls and other forms of entertainment, and that's how was founded the Bolshoi Theatre. Catherine made a special effort to bring leading intellectuals and scientists to Russia. She worked with Voltaire, Diderot and D'Alembert, all French encyclopedists who later cemented her reputation in their writings. Voltaire is best known for his wit and advocacy for freedom of speech. Catherine enlisted him to her cause. The pair had a long-lasting correspondence over her rule, which showed echoes of the friendship they had. They wrote to each other for 15 years, from her accession to his death in 1778, with mutual admiration for their respective fields. Voltaire in particular approved of Catherine's secular policies, given his advocacy for a separation between church and state. He lauded her accomplishments, calling her the Star of the North and the Semiramis of Russia, in reference to the legendary Queen of Babylon, a subject on which he published a tragedy in 1768. He also wrote to her of his wish to have been part of the Russia that she created. According to her memoirs, Sophie, Catherine, was regarded as a tomboy, and trained herself to master a sword. Just prior to her arrival in Russia in June 1743, she participated in a duel with her female second cousin from Anhalt, Princess Christiana. They were still teenagers when they developed a beef that could only be quashed by blood. The insults that drove them to lock swords is unknown to today's history, and the outcome of the challenge is unknown other than that both parties survived. When she became an empress, her attitude toward dueling was more tolerant than Peter the Great's had been. He made it a hanging offense, but she reformed the law, making the penalty for dueling a loss of social status. And when it came to women's duels, she was even more tolerant. There is an interesting story that claims that the Empress have acted as second in 8 different duels in 1765. Furthermore, Catherine disapproved of her court ladies killing each other and was only allowed to fight until first blood. What do you think? Did any of these facts surprise you? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to Fun Facts History channel, and ring the bell to be notified. Thank you for watching.